Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. You already know who it is. It is your boy Lewis, and I am back once again with another banger with yet another video. As I said, like always, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to always receive the latest and greatest content I truly provide. I truly appreciate you guys, man, and make sure when you finish watching this video, make sure to like and share this video, man. It'll only help the channel grow. Truly appreciate it. So, let's get right into this story. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a fine line so we have two different situations. We have, on Saturday, the Knicks losing to the Sacramento Kings. Shout out to Sacramento Kings, shout out to De'Aaron Fox, and shout out to Sacramento Kings fans. Sacramento Kings, man, still doing their thing, 33-32, man. I'm telling you, man, I tell you, those boys are putting in work. No all-star, and they're continuing to play hard. So nice win for the Sacramento Kings. Unfortunately for my Knicks, we're tanking. But the reason why I want to bring this up, guys, is because we had a fan who, at the end of the game, let his feelings felt to James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, who I continuously repeat myself, and I have been begging, pleading, that I feel like the NBA needs to get involved and get this man's license revoked from being the owner of the team and needs to sell it. So the fan goes as James Dolan is walking off the court. He says, "You need to sell the team." Now, if a fan says something to somebody, whether it's a player or it happens to be an owner, somebody who works there, as long as the fan says something, they can cheer and they can boo whoever they want because that is their hard-earned money they're paying to come see your product. If they're not saying anything that is offensive or it's proportionate or it goes to a certain line that you just don't cross, whether it starts to get really like offensive, if it starts to get, there's profanity, if it's vulgar, if it's sexist, if it's racist, again, if it's offensive to the point that you need to really pay attention to it, then I can understand you getting upset. But when a fan just tells you, to the owner, sell the team, and your ass goes, oh really? You want me to sell the team? Oh, that's really rude of you. You'll be watching your games on TV. And tells the PR guy to make sure you write this down and make sure this fans ain't coming. Are you a season ticket holder? You won't be coming to any more Knicks games. So make sure, I'll make sure that you'll be watching your games from, on TV. This is the owner that we've been dealing with for the last, 18 years? The Knicks are a joke of a franchise for, the biggest market in the NBA? In New York? And we got to deal with this bull jive? It's nonsense. Straight up nonsense. Quite honestly, it should be to the point that fans should even stop coming to games. You know why? Because those tickets are hella expensive. Brooklyn Nets tickets, I know Brooklyn doesn't have a long time coming. But right now, the way that team is looking, they've put a nice little product on the floor. You got Sean Marks, a player. He may not be as big of a player as some of the NBA All-Stars or Hall of Famers that have played over this game. But he's put together a nice little team that's going to be one of the big players in free agency because they're going to have cap. And Brooklyn Nets games have been fun to watch, and they're actually more affordable depending on what team plays compared to Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are big because of their name. They have the most value of any team in the NBA because they're worth, I think, over $4 billion. I think the Lakers are number 2. But still, they have the most value of any franchise. Their tickets are hell of expensive. And every time you come out there, it's because we see a losing product. But it's because they're purposely tanking. And that takes away the joy of the game. I'm just going to waste my money because I can see star players play, but it's like I don't even, see a good game. It's like I have to see teams lose. It just takes a joy. And then you have an owner who comes out and disrespects a fan for what they're saying is true, and it's not even offensive. He's actually telling a true statement. James Dolan needs to sell the team. He's a cancer to that environment. We need an owner who's committed to winning. We need a Joe Lacob type owner who lets the GMs and the president of basketball operations do their job and bring in a winning culture, win good character guys. That's what the Sacramento Kings have right now. Good character players. And now what they're going to do is they're going to make that place an attractable destination in the near future. And I said, this is one of the teams you need to worry about in the future. They are going to be big. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me when I say this, guys. You know, so then you have this. And James Dolan needs to get his license revoked as owner of the team. That dude should be gonzo. As long as he's there, it's like I don't even want to go to a Knicks game. I love the Garden, man. It's such a pretty venue to go to. But knowing that asshole is there, hell no. I'm sorry. I'd rather go to Brooklyn Nets games. It's a really nice gym, and I actually enjoy being at Barclays Center more than MSG. Just my opinion. I don't know if anybody feels the same way. So then, ladies and gentlemen, last night, switching gears, the Thunder were playing the Utah Jazz. And there was a moment where Russell Westbrook got into an altercation with a fan. Russell Westbrook was cursing profanity, and he definitely was displaying, saying that the fan was saying some racial things. And Russell kind of went back at him. So this idiotic fan, I'm sorry, I may not know the fan, but I'm sorry. Patrick Patterson went on Twitter and said, so just because we're rich athletes, we're expected to just shut up and dribble when a fan can say what they want. Listen, as I said before, fans can cheer and boo and say what they want as long as it's not crossing the lines to where it becomes an issue. You're telling a player to get on his knees? And funny, Russ is a rich black athlete. So now he's supposed to shut up and dribble being disrespected like that. And what I don't like is that guys like Broussard talking about blame Russ and, you know, he's kind of out of line going after the fan. So it's okay for a fan to be racially disrespectful to a player. And Russ has been dealing with a lot of these things. I mean, there was an incident in Philadelphia where a fan just literally put the middle finger right up in his face. And ladies and gentlemen, fans need to be held accountable for actions just as much as players. You need to keep it the same standard. If people are gonna be blaming Westbrook and talking about he can't go after fan, I'm sorry, but fans don't have the right to be disrespectful in that going that route to players, telling the player to bend his knees. It's just wrong. I'm telling them to get on your knees, man. Slave-like mentality right there. And I'm gonna say this: as much as I respect the Utah fans, because it's not everybody, but there's some of them that are very hostile and that are very racist. It's happened before. Rodney Hood had an incident when a fan was all up in his face, recording right in his face. I think when he got ejected. I think this was when he was a member of the Cavaliers. I don't know if it was there or in another gym, this was in Oklahoma City. I'm not quite too sure. But he literally smacked the phone off the guy's, excuse me. And it was because he had said something to him. And I'm just like, yo, you can say something, but it's like, yo, don't go, again, being like rude. As long as you're not being disrespectful, it's fine. But just, yo, don't go down that route, man. It's ridiculous, man. Like, players don't need to be disrespected. Like, even if they're rich athletes, man, there's a fine line. Like, you don't go disrespecting their families. You don't, like I said, you just don't cross that route. If you want to heckle a fan, and like I said, you go back and forth, and as long as it's a good nature within the game, it's cool. Sometimes it's not that easy to ignore a person when they go that route, when they push the envelope, when they want to push that button so far. Some of them have got to have thick skin, but not everybody handles it the same way. So everybody's different. But I just think that it's just wrong for somebody to say something to the point that now, you know, you're really getting into that point where it's just like, yo, I don't care what I say. Like, you should really not care, because it's like, you're the one that's going to be responsible because you came after me. And that's what fans tend to do. They tend to do that to try to goad you into doing something bad, to try to tarnish your image. And to say, oh, look at that. Rich black athlete, but he can't even keep his base. See, look, he acts like an animal. This is how he behaves. And he may not be that way. So if I'm Russell Westbrook, this is what teams need to do. When fans get that disrespectful, automatically kick them out of the game. And that dude, what's his name, Shane Kiesel, was lying out of his ass. He was lying out of his ass to protect himself. Fitting. White guy protecting himself. You think they're going to do anything? No. And the NBA needs to start not just only investigating because they got to get the facts down straight, but somebody acts out of line like that where they get disrespectful, where they get vulgar, you profane, they get personal with players. No, they need to get kicked out. James Dolan, that was not a personal situation because the guy didn't mention anything about him or the family. He just told them, you should sell the team. So there's a big difference between what the fan said to James Dolan and what the fan said to Russell Westbrook that caused him to clap back like that. So Russ has been dealing with a lot of these things, and it's like, yo, it's not easy, man. I mean, he had to deal with that kid that was in right there in courtside that kind of got in his way, and the white parents didn't do a goddamn thing about it. That was another situation, and that happened not too long ago. Now, yo, gotta be cognizant, people. So the NBA arenas and the NBA in general need to be stricter with their rules in terms of people that are in attendance to watch these players play. They need to. They need to be stricter. Like this is bull jive that players, even if they're making millions of dollars, they shouldn't be disrespected like that, no matter. Doesn't matter. It could be from the best player to the 12th man on the bench. Nobody should get disrespected like that. There's no need. Fans need to know their roles and shut their mouths when it comes to that. If you're being respectful, you can say cheer, boo, and say what you want as long as it's not disrespecting. But like it is, man. Yo, once again, this is Luz with another one, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. You know, like I said, man, bless up. One love, peace. Thanks for watching.